afternoon, Pats fam. It's your boy DTM back here with another edition of Patriots Talk Show. Hope you guys are having a nice sunny Friday. Fridays are awesome. Facts. So today we're going to be doing a recap of day one of the 2025 NFL Draft, where the Patriots selected Will Campbell with the 4th overall pick. Now, I do have some feelings or some mixed feelings about this pick, but before we get into deeper onto why I think Will Campbell could be a huge asset for the Patriots, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit those notification bells, and remember, if you subscribe, it's completely free for me, well, for you guys, just so that you can help me significantly. It will help support the channel, so I hope you guys subscribe. It's the least you can do. And if you guys want to chat with me, you can use the pin comment in the top of the chat where it has the link to the StreamYard. But let's get back to where we were. So as far as I know, Will Campbell is a 3-time. He was one of the best offensive tackles out of LSU. He only allowed 2 sacks within 2 seasons as a starter. Well, basically, if I could get the stats for Will Campbell on ESPN or on PFF, because unfortunately, like I mentioned or alluded to, I don't have the full extent of. Hold on, let me just take a look and see what he has done, and I'll present them to all of you guys. So I need to make sure that I present all of this. Share screen, and then I'll present this. And in the meantime, I got to make sure that people are interested of wanting to watch this live stream, because I get it. It's an afternoon. But what I do understand is that 3 hours until day 2 of the NFL Draft. And I'm excited to so basically we're going to get into why I think Will Campbell could be a huge asset, and then who we think we should get on day 2 of the NFL Draft, because as much as day 1 is extremely important, day 2 is also important. So I think it's completely important that we need to hit on some of these prospects. And I think that hold on, let me switch. So what I love about Will Campbell is that, yeah, he may have had a horrible season, but that's only because the quarterback that he had, which was Nussmeier, I think. So that was the quarterback who took over for Jaden Daniels after Jaden Daniels has confirmed that he will be heading into the 2024 NFL Draft, and he was selected by the Washington Commanders with the 2nd overall pick. And during Jaden Daniels' season, I thought Will Campbell excelled. He excelled to his high potential, but when he had Nussmeier, he did what he could do. But the only problem is the quarterback, Nussmeier, he could not block. He could not not block. He could not make reads properly. He's shifting over to the left, and that gives it an easy target for linebackers and defensive ends. So I think that it also plays to the factor that the quarterback for LSU was really horrible. Nussmeier was not a good quarterback. But Will Campbell, he won the Jacob Block Trophy. I think that was the name of the trophy. He was a first-team All-American. Obviously, he was a first-team All-SEC, which is the best division in college, in my opinion. You play for one of the best schools in the SEC, that's what's going to get you to the highest level. You went up against some of the best edge rushers in Alabama. You went up against the best edge rushers in Tennessee. You went up some of the best edge rushers, in Georgia. SEC is like the premier of the NFL. Like it's like one of the best, if not the best, football conferences in all of American football. So I think that it speaks volume to the fact that you gotten like a player who has played at a high tier level, and he could be like a starting caliber left tackle for you. So all these stats here be present to myself, and I apologize if I'm getting a little stuffy, but just because it is the allergy season. Don't get me wrong, spring is here, and I do not like the allergy season. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Well, I'm just talking about what in my thoughts of why Will Campbell, in my opinion, he could be that huge asset for the Patriots. I love Will Campbell's mentality as a prospect. He knew for a fact that like, during his interview when he was asked like what does it feel like to play for the Patriots, he said that he will fight and die to support Drake May. You know what's interesting about like the Patriots picking players? I think they did a good job of picking players who have like a chip on their shoulders. Like Will Campbell is a perfect example because before the 2025 NFL draft, this guy has been wrecked for his short arm lengths. Like we're like below 33, and I'm like, that's just baloney. Like, who are these writers were thinking? Like, what has the media been thinking about? But what I love in Will Campbell is that you have this leadership in him. You have this grit in him. You know that he wants to be a New England Patriot, which I thought like, oh, there's going to be so many players who like, oh, they drafted me just because they needed me. Well, that's true. But at the same time, I think that the fact that you drafted Will Campbell because you need to boost up the trenches. Mike Vrabel alluded to in the in his introductory press conference like 3 years ago that you want to build up through the trenches. And the fact that you have to build through the trenches, it's going to give Drake May some more protection. The best part is I do not have to see Badarian Lowe blocking for Drake May because we can all agree as Pats fans that Badarian Lowe, he was like the worst left tackle. Well, not like the worst left tackle, but he was like everybody's least favorite left tackle. Just give me 1 second as I get like a bottle of water, and then yeah, we'll continue with this discussion. It's getting stuffy in here. I hate it. I really hate it. I know for a fact that Will Campbell also alluded to the fact that he does like Will Campbell's no. He likes Mike Vrabel's coaching ethic. He likes his character. He likes what his mentality is and what his style is. And he likes this hard nose. And I don't know how I really want to say it, but Will Campbell, he's like this nitty-gritty guy that you really want in him. He's like this premier left tackle, obviously out of LSU. So basically you're getting like a premier left tackle in him. So I think that's like, I know that there's some like mixed feelings about like why I would not get Will Campbell at 4. But then again, after witnessing what I saw last night on Colby's channel at Patriots Global, you realize that there were like 8 left tackles, offensive tackles that were like picking up one by one. You like Kelvin Banks went to the Saints, Donovan Jackson went to the Vikings, Josh Simmons to the Chiefs, Armand Membu to the Jets, and Josh Connolly, who was projected to be in the second round, he was picked off by the Washington Commanders. So basically, you know that if you think that we should have got like Tech McMillan or Ashton Genty, by the time we make it to the second round, none of these like offensive tackles are available because the majority of them are like picking off one by one. So I can see your point of view. Like, I would not get Will Campbell just because of his arm length, and you say it would be a bust. But that's just what the casuals are saying. And I just don't understand that mentality of like, oh, because he has the shortest arm lengths, oh, he's not going to be one of those premier left tackles, which I think is a bunch of baloney. And I think that what pisses me off a lot more is how many countless times that you see a lot of like fans ripping up Will Campbell. Well, after his speech, you saw him crying and his like tears of joy that he was like willing to fight and die for the New England Patriots, which I thought like you gotta have that mentality. You gotta have a mentality, and that's what Mike Vrabel likes to see in a player. And I think that we might think that he might be a bust. Just wait and see. You know that there's like a chip on his shoulder being like, oh, that he's this and that. Well, he's going to prove you on the field that once he excels and now he has a better quarterback in Drake May, similar to what he had in Jaden Daniels, this guy is going to excel. Drake May, he's going to elevate this offensive line. He's going to make Will Campbell look good as long as he has the proper supporting class when it comes to like receivers and tight ends. And obviously that's what we need to hit in the second round and the third round, and possibly in the very beginning of day round 3. And speaking of day 2, I just made my brief announcement that I will be hosting day 2 of the 2025 NFL mock draft. So I think that you should come and chat with me, and we're gonna have a fun time, because I know Colby did host like a watch party, and I took part of it for day 1. But for day 2, I will be hosting it. So I think that you should be really excited, and I will make sure that you all come in and tune in to like see what the Patriots get in the second round and in the third round. Because obviously I was a little disappointed when we didn't go back up to the first round, but let's get this straight. This draft class is not as good as you think compared to like last year's. Last year's, it was really good. And the fact that people were like torn between like Drake May and Marvin Harrison Jr., and I can understand that if we get Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to throw to him, basically? Like, I don't want to see another year Mac Jones. And then you have Drake May. Drake May, he doesn't have like a Josh Downs anymore. Tez Walker has been out for a majority of the time. And the fact that you now have Drake May, and if you give him more weapons by like going out in the round 2s or round 3s of the NFL draft and pick off like a wide receiver, I think that Drake May is going to excel. I know for a fact that he's definitely going to excel. I know that he didn't have like a proper class. Like, he didn't have like a proper offensive line. He didn't have like a proper like receiving core. And then again, Drake May, he was like ACC offensive player of the year in 2022. And I know we're not talking about Drake May. We're talking about Will Campbell. And I think that Will Campbell as a left tackle, he is going to excel as a left tackle. You may think that like, oh, he is a left guard, which I don't agree. Like, if his arm, like, people would compare him to like Peter Skoronski, who was projected to be a left tackle, picking off by the Tennessee Titans, who is now a left guard. I just think that kind of mentality is just what's gonna get you like be more miserable, and I think that's the worst mentality I've ever heard. So I think that getting Will Campbell this early at 4, you secure yourself at left tackle, because after witnessing 7 to 8 tackles taking in the first round, it shows you that they value a left tackle, they value the trenches. And trenches is what helping you win games. And then I remember seeing David Andrews' story on Instagram. He said that you win games by building up the trenches. And the fact that you get Will Campbell, he's definitely going to build up the trenches. And now that you have a leader in Will Campbell, you combine him and Morgan Moses' experience and veteran leadership. This is going to help elevate Will Campbell as a leader, and it's going to help the offensive line in general. So I think it's a lot better than what we had last season, where we had like Vidarian Lowe and Demontre Jacobs. So I think that now that you have a left tackle and a superior upgrade to the left side, I think that by like day 2 or day 3, like within like the 4th round, we should at least prioritize getting a left guard, because I do not think Cole Strange will be back at left guard. Because he has been injury prone, he has been fumbling. I wouldn't say fumbling, but he excels when he's healthy, but the problem is he can't stay healthy. So I think that he's projected to be a center. And I know for a fact that it's too early to say it, but Cole Strange is a bust. So I think that you need to go get a left guard and possibly a center, because Garrett Bradbury, he's more like an assurance policy. You gave him for like 2 years, but once you get like a center with like a day 3, I think that you at least have a future at center than just Garrett Bradbury for like two seasons. Okay, I think we're done with this Will Campbell segment, and I'm gonna briefly get into like what we should be aiming towards for days 2 and for day 2 within the 2nd round and the 3rd round. I've been in a lot of discussions saying that we should get edge, and I don't disagree. Like, we have a hole at edge because of the departure of Dietrich Wise, and even though you got Harold Landry and we got Clavion Chase on, I think Harold Landry is going to be on one side, and then whoever we drafted in the 2nd round, I want to see Donovan Ezeraku out of Boston College or Mike Green. But why not Mike Green? Because Mike Green has like some legal issues, and I don't want like some guy who has off the field issues. So maybe him, no, so maybe like Donovan Ezeraku or Nick Scorn. Those are my 2 top picks for like when it comes to like edge rusher or defensive end. When it comes to like wide receiver, I know that I'm getting flamed for this, but the problem with getting wide receiver at the 2nd round, they're not developed properly. Like, look what happened to Tyquan Thornton. We ship him off, and he proved time and time again that he's not the it factor. And last season, we got Jalen Polk. I thought Jalen Polk would be that guy the moment that training camp hits. Like, he was like great when pads were on, but when it came to the regular season, he was not that guy factor. And I think that now that you have Stephon Diggs through free agency, I think that's going to help improve the wide receiver core that you had last season. Like, he's going to make sure that Javon Baker and Jalen Polk don't act like these college kids, because you're not in college anymore. You're now professional players playing in the NFL. And that's been the problem under Mayo. Like, there was no sense of urgency. There was like no discipline, no nothing. There was like no fear factor in it. And I think that was like the biggest problem for the Patriots. But now that you have Mike Vrabel, you're going to get that it factor in Mike Vrabel. So I think that this is like a huge plus for Mike Vrabel. So like, and now that you have Stephon Diggs, the wide receiver core is going to look a lot better. But I would still get like a wide receiver. And I think that getting a wide receiver coach is crucial, because Tyquan Underwood, I think he was the assistant wide receivers coach. And then we had Tyler Hughes out of Washington, but he was more of a quality control coach. He never had experience as a wide receivers coach. And that was another problem. Like, I also think that Troy Brown, he was not a good wide receivers coach. He may have excelled as a player for the Patriots, and yes, he was in the Patriots Hall of Fame, but I don't think like he is that good of a wide receivers coach, in my opinion. He was like okay, but not like at a premier level. But that's going to be my main target. So if I'm looking into day 2, I want to focus on edge and wide receiver. Those are my main 2. And if there's a possibility that we could also get running back, but I would save running back for tomorrow. So like tomorrow, there's like so many options you can look into. But for me personally, on day 2, I would prioritize edge and wide receiver. And that's going to be it for today's live stream. I'm not expecting this to be like a long live stream, but however, later tonight, it is going to be a long one because I will be hosting day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And I hope to see all of you Pats fans live with me as we react to some of the players that we selected for day 2. And I'll see you guys in 3 hours. Go Pats.